Springtime in Europe is no doubt one of the best times to prance around the continent, with beautiful blooms, agreeable weather, and most importantly, a relative lack of crowds to spar with. And after years of springtime jaunts in the name of pretty flowers and research, in this video, I'll be sharing some of the best spring destinations to visit in Europe. In case you're new here, hi, I'm Christina from happytowander.com. And this channel is all about practical travel tips, so be sure to like and subscribe if that sounds like your kind of thing. Now, let's get started with an obvious one, and that's the Netherlands. Known as the tulip capital of the world, it should come as no surprise that I've put the Netherlands at the top of today's list. Said to produce over 4 billion tulip bulbs a year, the Netherlands is a true tulip wonderland, with vibrant, sprawling fields scattered across the Dutch countryside. Plus, plenty of made-for-tourist experiences to get up close and personal with the almighty tulip. Located close to the Netherlands' western coast by Lisse is the country's most famous floral attraction, Keukenhof, which bills itself as the most beautiful garden in Europe. With impressive floral displays scattered across 79 acres, this massive garden takes on a new theme every year, with various pavilions decked out in floral sculptures and arrangements. It's a beautiful place, but also incredibly crowded, so make sure you get there as soon as they open. That said, if your goal is to see iconic tulip fields, then Keukenhof isn't the place. Though a boat ride does take you around to some fields, it's hardly the frolicking experience most visitors dream of. Luckily, there are now ethical ways to frolic in fields without harming farmers' livelihoods, in made-for-photo fields that are becoming increasingly popular every spring. Last year, I went to the tulip barn in Hillegom and had the time of my life, with rows of tulips and fun photo props all on hand for the perfect Dutch tulip experience. Plus, it's worth noting that springtime in the Netherlands is delightful in its cities and towns as well. Over in Amsterdam, the entire month of April marks a citywide tulip festival, which brings hundreds of thousands of tulips to the city in the form of unique floral displays and jewel-worthy photo ops. And of course, these beautiful blooms can be admired all across the country. A personal favorite of mine being Giethoorn, an idyllic car-free village known for its picturesque canals. But besides tulips, spring is a great season to visit the Netherlands because their national day, King's Day, falls on April 27th, the birthday of their current monarch. This day is an exciting time to be in the Netherlands, as I learned firsthand last year. From wholesome pop-up markets all across the country to more chaotic parties in the big cities like Amsterdam, this is one celebration you won't soon forget. Now, moving on to the next must-see destination for springtime in Europe, we have the beautiful city of Bonn, Germany. Bonn is the former capital of Western Germany, known for being the birthplace of Beethoven, gummy bears, and possibly the most stunning cherry blossoms in Europe. Every spring, Bonn streets explode with pink, thanks to the dozens of cherry blossom trees strategically planted back in the 80s as part of a city redevelopment program. Today, the cherry blossoms of Bonn are a tourist attraction in their own right, and yes, they are very much worth the trek. Add on an excursion to nearby villages and castles along the Rhine River, and you really do have a dreamy spring getaway. Speaking of Germany, another beautiful place for springtime travel is Munich. Every fall, millions of international visitors flood Munich for the iconic Oktoberfest, the world's largest celebration of beer. What many people don't realize, however, is that there's a spring version of the festival, Frühlingsfest, with all the same drunken debauchery, just on a smaller scale. While there's only 2 large tents instead of Oktoberfest 17, the event is held on the same grounds, with many of the same rides, and once you're in a tent anyway, after a few liter-large beers, you definitely won't mind. Other highlights include a massive flea market on the first Saturday of the festival, plus lots of beautiful cherry blossoms and spring blooms all across the city. And to seal the deal, mid-April to June is what is known as Spargelzeit in Germany, a period when the country gets to celebrate their most beloved vegetable, white asparagus, with every restaurant and market selling an alarming quantity every day. Germans are obsessed with Spargel, so much that there are scenic asparagus routes to encourage asparagus tourism, and even a Spargelfest in Schwetzingen. Next on the list is London, England. Spring in London is truly something else, no matter when in the season you arrive. Come at the start for luscious magnolias and wildflowers, or save your visit until early May for the city's famous wisteria hysteria, during which some of the city's most glorious facades become engulfed in trails of whimsical purple. The RHS Chelsea Flower Show, held annually in May, is another reason to visit London in the spring, known as kind of the gardening event of the year. Plus, there's an array of free installations and displays on at the same time, like Chelsea and Belgravia in bloom. Of course, spring is a great time to enjoy the city too before the summer crowds arrive, so I really can't recommend it enough. Another amazing UK destination for spring is the Cotswolds. The Cotswolds are a dreamy piece of England that offer buttery limestone facades, tranquil green hills, and more English charm than every season of Downton Abbey combined. And visiting the Cotswolds at springtime means plenty of gorgeous blooms and usually lovely weather, without the peak season crowds. Unless you count sheep, of course, because lambing season means plenty of adorable newborn lambs roaming the hills. During my spring visit a few years ago, I got to witness walls of wisteria and beautiful blooms in pretty much every village. If you love cozy destinations like I do, this region is a must, with plenty of cozy pubs and tea houses to hide in when that inevitable English rain makes its appearance. Next on our list is Paris, France. Of all the beautiful cities one can visit in Europe, perhaps none carries more of a magical allure than Paris. And let me tell you, Paris in the spring is possibly the most glorious time to visit, with striking blooms popping up all over the city, framing iconic spots like the Eiffel Tower with pretty pops of pink and purple. It goes without saying, of course, that spring is also a much quieter time to visit Paris than the summer, which is when vacationers arrive en masse. And sealing the deal for May visitors is the annual Long Night of Museums, during which many of the city's amazing museums stay open later and offer special events, a tradition also observed in many other European cities. Now onwards to the next destination, Trentino, Italy. Trentino is one of my favorite hidden gem regions of Italy, with glorious nature and tasty food in abundance. Flanked by the Dolomites on one end and Lake Garda on the other, this beautiful butterfly-shaped piece of northern Italy has mountains, castles, vineyards, orchards, and outrageously beautiful blooms to boot. Not to mention charming towns like Rovereto around every corner, as well as some dangerously drinkable wines. Whether you want to ski in the mountains or admire blooming orchards in the valley, Trentino in the spring has a little something for everyone. After all, it is here that many Italians choose to spend their vacation days, so that's definitely saying something. Next on our list is Sintra, Portugal. Located just 30 kilometers from Lisbon, Sintra is a mysterious fairy tale of a place, packed with intriguing palaces and castles thanks to its status as a go-to destination for Portuguese nobility back in the day. These days, there's about a dozen palaces and castles for you to admire here, from the vibrant hilltop Pena Palace and the epic Castle of the Moors, to the intriguing Quinta da Regalera, famous for its spooky initiation well. While visiting Sintra in the spring is risky weather-wise, I sure got caught in a storm or two. The moody weather makes for brilliant photos and thinner crowds at some of Portugal's most bustling tourist attractions. I would highly recommend a spring trip here because seriously, the palaces in Sintra are otherworldly. Now, next, if you're looking for a spring break in Europe that's a bit more off the beaten path, I can highly recommend Vilnius, Lithuania. I will never get over how much I adored this city. With beautiful architecture, fascinating history, and a national cuisine best described as comfort food on steroids, Vilnius is an awesome city break any time of year. For those who have no idea what Vilnius has to offer, picture giant pink churches that look like birthday cakes, picturesque squares, pretty streets lined with a mishmash of historic architecture, and of course, a beautifully preserved old town that has been flaunting UNESCO World Heritage status since 1994. Plus, with a thriving craft beer scene and provocative street art, along with its own bohemian neighborhood turned republic, Vilnius is crawling with cool activities and things to do. So, if you're looking for a hidden gem city break for springtime travel, this is it. Another pick for this category is Sofia, Bulgaria. I've long considered Bulgaria to be one of the most underrated countries to visit in Europe, and its capital of Sofia is an amazing city to experience in springtime. Besides gorgeous monuments and sights to explore during the day, and a buzzing and unique nightlife filled with hidden bars and speakeasies to enjoy at night, one adorable tradition that makes Sofia a top-notch place to experience springtime in Europe is Martenitsa. These are red and white ornaments made of yarn that many Bulgarians wear from March 1st until they see a stork, swallow, or the season's first blossoming tree, at which point they'll tie their Martenitsa onto a tree. This results in a sea of red and white decorations throughout the city, symbolic of the happy spring to come. Of course, this is a tradition you'll see not just in Sofia, but throughout the region. Still, I have a soft spot for this city, especially when it comes alive at springtime with gorgeous blooms. Add in its array of epic day trips like Rila Monastery and the 7 Rila Lakes, and this is truly one amazing destination, not just for spring, but any time of year. Now, truth be told, narrowing this list down was difficult, and of course, the list just barely scrapes the surface. So please let me know in the comments what other spring destinations you'd recommend, and subscribe for more travel videos just like this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week.